Good morning, Jimmy. How are you, man? Good morning. Sorry, we were having technical difficulties, but I can see you and you can hear me now, so that's good.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, always doing great. And everyone, good morning. I have with me Jimmy Franklin. If you're if you have lived in the Houston area for the last 25, 30 years, you probably hear his name. He's an icon in the real estate industry, and I'm proud to call him my friend. So hopefully he called me his friend also. We'll see. We'll find out, right, Jimmy?
Excited.
Anyway, thank you.
I was real excited, Javier, when you asked me to do this because we were communicating a bunch. We were actually working on a charity together, and then 2020 happened, and life got super crazy and busy, and we've uh, we've had a little trouble getting the momentum going to collaborate as much as we were then. So it was great that you asked me to do this so we can get this thing on a roll again.
Absolutely, man. It's always a pleasure chatting with you and spending time with you. Learn a lot from you, and I really, thank you for taking the time to help me promote this show. So anyway, let's get started. Tell me, how long were you active in the real estate business? So people want to know that.
Well, I got in the business in 1982 at the age of 27. Dropped out of college in my early 20s. Slacker, pretty much. The kind of jobs you get when you drop out of college. Through that point, and found real estate by accident. And so from then until 14, I would say, when the kids came and kind of took over the business, and then I've been, you never completely out when it's your children, but as far as the daily stuff, I would say from 82 until 2014.
Awesome. So that's quite a career. I remember when I first came to sell real estate in Katy back in 2000, and I wanted to get my business rolling. And every time I went through Cinco Ranch or Kellywood and everything, and I just saw handful of names, and one of them always was Jimmy Franklin. I said, "What is he doing? That I want to do what he's doing because your signs were everywhere, and and you got to respect that as an agent, right?" But what made you get into real estate?
Uh, Desperation. I
That's a good one.
I was just, it was kind of like, well, nothing else has worked. Let's try this. I'd like to tell you there was some grand design and some ability to see the future, but honestly, Javier, that was kind of it. I mean, I had interest in it. I can't say I didn't. I did have interest in, and I thought I might be able to do it, but I didn't have any sales background whatsoever. So and I did. Now, once I got there, I felt like I'd found, finally found my niche, and I could do it, and I could probably be successful. Having said that, the '80s were, most people aren't old enough to have been working in the '80s, in this business, and they were it was a grind, and it did take a while. And of course, when you start out with zero clients, zero listings, zero pendings, and almost nobody in your sphere of influence, it's going to be slow anyway. Um, but it was probably fortunate that I was not qualified to go and find another job, and I was able to, work through it, figure it out, and stay with it, and then finally got good at it.
Well, it's funny you say that because it is this one of the things you said something at the beginning that that you know you desperation, right? And that's probably one of the things that a lot of the new agents that I talk to, they don't have that, right? They think that they come into the real estate business and they will make money tomorrow, and you work hard for your business, And all of us, I always say that most of us in this business, we either fail or migrated from another business that we were doing. And obviously, some of us, you've done phenomenal. You leaving a legacy for your kids. I'm trying to do the same, but it is a struggle. And for you to, after so many years, to be still being active out there, because although you're retired, you still getting the business up for your the next level of the business, right? But it is
Mhm.
amazing. I admire when somebody just we somebody that struggled at the beginning and now reaches succeed, right? Success. So what would you say was the favorite part of being a real estate agent?
The people, it was you got to. Well, there's I don't know if there's one specific answer. Obviously, I do like uh, building relationships. I like people. It's never the same every day, right? You know that.
Right.
We all know that better than people that aren't in the industry, is that everything's little different every day, and I enjoy that. It never gets boring. Um, but there are other things too. Obviously, by the time 1985 came along, I had two children, and two children and broke will motivate you. And so one of the things that I love about the business is that you are not limited in what you don't have a ceiling on what you can do financially. Um, so I like all that aspect. I like being an entrepreneur. I like not working for somebody. I wasn't that good at working for other people, and so I like that. I like the ability to make my own decisions, and you know, I say pick my own hours, but you and I both know that you know there's a but to that, right? I mean, yeah, you're
Right.
picking your own hours, but those hours tend to be a lot. But I like that, right? And so all those things, you asked for one answer, but those are multiple answers. I like people. I like being an entrepreneur, and I like the fact that there is no ceiling on what you can earn if you and that you are rewarded for what you bring to your company, your entity, um, as opposed when you work for somebody, that's not the case, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with. I mean, everything that you said. That yes, I'm glad that your answer was that long because that's how it is, right?
Mhm.
One of the things that I always tell my my team members is that most people go to work 9 to 6, and that's when they that time frame, that's when they work. But in reality, they're also cheating their employees because they clock in at 9 sharp, and by 4:30 they're ready to go. It's so. But one of the things that I always tell people, not only on my team but other agents that I get an opportunity to talk to, is that whatever you do before and after your working hours, that's what you do in before and after, that's what you're going to be rewarded in public, right?
Mhm.
Because we do a lot of things before other agents start working and afterwards. So I see what you're saying. No, I really enjoyed the same thing that you said. I enjoy exactly the same thing. But let me tell you, what made you different from the other agents back, let's say, on the 90s or 2000? What made you different, and that made you still standing today? Because a lot of those agents are gone.
Well, so as far as what made me, I don't know, have success, I suppose, is I was a good outside the box thinker, and I came up with some programs that I think were sort of unique. I as you probably know, I one of my one of the places I got sort of entrenched in was in the builder community, and I came up with some programs that were unique, and then that were also hard for competitors to duplicate. And so that was kind of one avenue. And necessarily think this is different. This would just be good advice, and that is, I feel like that, I gave when I gave my opinion to a client or a friend or anyone that was talking about real estate, I did so what I thought was in their best interest, and even if that wasn't necessarily going to lead to business for me. I've talked a lot of people out of selling homes. I said, you really can't afford to move into this more expensive home. You probably couldn't, shouldn't you probably shouldn't be in this home with your current financial situation. And I found that's always, even though I didn't do it for that reason, I found that always kind of came back to me in referrals and repeat business and things like that. So that was like kind of a secondary thing. But those were a couple of things that um, you know that I did. I also returned calls, and today that there's an epidemic of agents who just don't. If it doesn't look like it's going to serve them, they don't bother. They don't bother with it. I mean, I don't want to sound like the old guy in the room, complaining about, but and it probably wasn't, it's probably always been this way to a certain degree, but I return appraisers calls that need information about a home. You know, I just like to get that off the list. I don't like to have people, that are looking for me that, and then I'm ghosting. I don't ghost those people.
No,
So I think that just being professional is just a good way of doing business, and it'll come back to you. It'll come back
absolutely.
to you.
Absolutely. You say that, something very important, because one of the things that I always tell new agents and the members of my team, the number one problem in real estate is the lack of follow up, right? And even though today we have the technology that we didn't have back, 20 years ago,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
we didn't have those fancy, smartphones, and we were struggling. You probably remember when, if you had uh, a, a, you were dealing with a buyer and the listing agent was somewhere in Channelview, we have to drive our asses all the way there,
Yeah.
to drop the darn contract. And right now, it's just, lack of follow up. I think is one of the problems that we have, and the fact that you emphasize on making sure that you were available. That's something that is admirable. So,
Not
so
even and not even Javier for your clients, for people in general. Just be nice to people, And it's so much easier today. I came into, again, I'm laughing about, the old guy telling the story about how things were back in the day. The guy who had to go to school 5 miles in the snow. I don't want to sound like that guy, but back in, when I got in the business, we didn't have the ability to communicate with people in any way but talking to them on the telephone. Like you couldn't even, we didn't even have voicemail yet. Later on, you could sort of get away with leaving voicemails and getting your message across, and then you didn't have to have a 15-minute conversation. Save some time that way. But nowadays, it's pretty easy. You can communicate with texting or messaging or emails or all that, and people still aren't so many people aren't very good at doing that. Back in the day, if you had to call you had to talk to them on the phone. So that's
yeah,
why maybe that's why I find it easy to you know to to return a call or return a text or return an email, because it's so much better than it used to be in that world. So
yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you, what kind of processes did you have when you were running the team? What kind of process did you have for new agents or seasoned agents when they joined your team? You have any process system or that you use or still using? Let's say that.
honestly, I I didn't really. I can't say that I really. Now the person that you need to have on is one of my two kids. They have fantastic processes, and that's one of the reasons. that, I handed them $150 million team, but we were pretty small and pretty lean. I think we only had three at my peak. We only had three agents on the team, and and they were all none of them were new agents. So I didn't really go there, Javier, on that one. But
Yeah,
that's probably a great question for one of them the next time
yeah,
you do
absolutely.
your show, because they really do have a great system in place. And Carrie is runs the team, and so they have a sales manager and that's outstanding. So they have great processes. I that's not my that's not something I'm going to give you a great answer on me. I sort of did it by, shadow me, you know. But
Yeah,
I also in when I came up in the business, there was no training, there was no teams at all. There wasn't even
right.
teams, but there was very little mentorship. Um, if you didn't, you know, everybody was kind of a free agent, and you might get an answer if you ask a question,
Yeah,
but um, I had no training to speak of. So whatever I did in the 90s and the 2000s, it was better than anything that had preceded me, as far as training and mentorship and collaboration. But it wasn't nearly as good as people like you do today, and people like the Franklin team does today. So
yeah,
that's one of the things that's so different today that I admire, and I would have been so great to have that, be a part of that, because the way agents are brought up today is superior if they just take advantage of it. The the opportunities to get good and get good in a hurry are so much better now than they were, at the time that I came up.
yeah. I'm still think the same way you think in some ways, because I do train do give training to my team on a weekly basis, but I do believe in shadowing. I think shadowing is probably one of the best ways that an agent can learn, because all of us learn differently, right?
Yeah.
Some of us are visual, some of us like to put things in action, audio. But anyway, so that's I know that you had a great system without you knowing, because you built an empire on real estate. So you had a process that sometimes we didn't, you didn't know you had it, but you had it and made you who you are. So now, what would be your 30 seconds elevator pitch to any new agent out there? You run into this guy, you have only 30 seconds to give him the best advice they could get.
Uh, well, I have several things. Be patient. Be professional. Some of the things I've just said already. Treat people right, and treat it like you worked the job that you had in your past, where you had a boss, and this was the boss that demanded the most from you. Treat that like you're that person, and you're that boss, and you're that employee. In other words, however much you put into that job that you had for that demanding boss that you respected, be that boss, and be that employee, and how you treat it. In other words, um, don't take advantage of the fact that you're self-employed. Treat it like you are responsible, and you want to give it your 8 hours or your 10 hours or whatever it is that you're going to put into it. And don't because it's very easy in this business. I know I've gone over 30 seconds. Sorry about that.
All right, no
But
worries.
it's very easy in this business to not be accountable, because nobody's really making you do it, right? I mean, nobody's going to fire you. So
That's right.
when I came into the business, I saw that people goofed off a lot because there wasn't anyone. It's because it's not an easy job to come into. It's not an easy career to come into, because you've always had a clock to punch essentially at anything you did before, and now you don't. It's kind of like if you want to go shopping, if you want to watch television, that that's good. You can go do it. So don't be
Right.
that guy. Is would be one of the main thing I would tell. Treat it like it's treat it like you have a treat it like you're going to give it your 8 hours, your 10 hours a day.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Because one of the things that I've seen that a lot of agents that they don't have a set schedule on a weekly basis or on a daily basis, and they just do it whenever it's convenient for them,
Yeah,
right? Whenever
yeah,
whenever they feel like doing it. And I think this business should be treated like, hey, this is not your, no, no, it's not your job, it's your business. So treat it as such, and dedicate the time that needs to plant the seeds so you can cultivate later. And you probably see that, Rolling. You and I had a conversation years ago, and you said, you asked me when is the best time to plant a tree, right?
yeah,
Right. And
yeah.
you said it was 20 years ago, but it's also now. So this is one of the things that I always remember, right? But because it is you want to, like I always said, you want your next 2 3 years of your life to be better than the
Mhm.
last 2 3 years of your life. You gotta change. You gotta
Right.
start somewhere, right? Just like you did back when you were a new agent. It was desperation, two keys and desperation, that you knew that you needed to do something different to change your life and their life, and you did, and that's amazing. So where's the Jimmy Franklin of 2022? Where's he heading?
Um, man, we're uh, we're actually got some ancillary businesses that we're involved in. Our hard money lending company. We're trying to help grow the brokerage, and I really do enjoy something that didn't happen so much when I was building my own career. Um, I had my own responsibilities and help my own people on my team, or just take care of my own business. We're really, I mean, you know how that can be a more than a full time job, and having that freedom now, I'm enjoying. Helping other agents and mentoring other agents. It's been really cool to kind of give back now that I have the luxury of doing it, and really some more time. So I feel like things are. I'm actually busier now than I was the first 5 years after I handed the team off. And it's been a lot of fun too. It's fun busy.
And that's the key. You gotta love what you do, right? You gotta love what you do. It seems like you're loving what you're doing, and I see you everywhere, in meetings and try to get this business going. And I really admire you. So I want you to know that I wanted to have you here because I know that a lot of agents out there, they hear your name, they don't know who you are, and they know the business. But I want them to, I just want them. I felt like they needed to know who you were because I got to know you outside the business, and a lot of people didn't know that, right? They don't know you. But I really thank you, Jimmy, for taking the time. I know time is very valuable. I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I know that you have coffee with your dad, which is amazing. I wish I would have my parents still around. So that I also admire. And
Yeah,
before we go, I want to let everybody know that next week I have Captain Mike McCoy from the Fulcher Police Department as a guest with me. So, we're going to talk about a lot of different things on safety with agents and what's going on in general. But
yeah.
Jimmy, don't go anywhere. But thank you so much. Thank you everyone for out there. We're gonna repost the show. It's gonna go. We're gonna play over and over. And thank you for tuning in. And Jimmy, thank you so much, man. And I'll get back with you in a second.
If
Anything
I
you want?
hey, if Javier, if I can just add something, I
Of course.
one of the cool things about our business is and that's been a little different for me in the last several years is getting to collaborate with people that I only knew from a distance. And
Yeah.
you are one of those people, and it's been so great that our paths crossed, and that we have a chance not only to collaborate on business opportunities, but also to be friends. And you were nice enough to call me a couple of years ago about a charity that you were passionate about, and so that's really one of the things I've enjoyed a lot. So, and of course, getting an opportunity to watch how you do your business as well has been very, very fun.
I mean, I appreciate you. Appreciate, I'm glad that we got to become friends and do a lot of things together. And I'm still looking for other charities. So I think of you when every time I do that. But I have a couple of prospects. I'll get back to you on that. But
Cool. Sounds
again,
good.
thank you. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you soon.